stunned it was such a demolition. I mean, I thought this was going to be razor close.
Well, nobody demolishes the Chiefs.
Right? I mean, Mahomes had lost 4 games in his career by 8 or more points.
They were 15-1 in the regular season.
Yeah.
The only game they lost was against the Buffalo Bills, who are another fantastic team.
Yeah.
And that came down to the wire. It came down to a Josh Allen 4th down conversion that really sealed the deal for him. So I don't know that anybody anticipated that kind of what's the belt to the ass?
Yeah, that's
turned into the
belt to ass.
That's it.
That's it.
But I think it was I don't know that anybody expected that for sure.
Unbelievable, man.
Including the Chiefs.
Of course.
Were they overconfident?
I don't think that. I mean, maybe I don't know. I think that I would be surprised if they were, because I think at the end of the day, you look at the roster that the Eagles had.
I know.
I don't know that anybody would go into a game like we're just going to go beat the crap out of them. It's just I don't think that's it. I just think that the Eagles were the better team.
Yeah.
Physically, and I think that the Chiefs had a number of things that they screwed up with, and that's what they made a lot of uncharacteristic things happen. And the Eagles played one of the best games of their careers. A lot of the players.
And Jason, the front four of the Eagles day, and I know it's a couple different, 4 guys was more like 6 or 7 with the rotations.
The D-line.
They just
and that was the Achilles heel.
My God.
That was the Achilles heel for the Chiefs offense all season long. They couldn't figure out the tackle position. They kind of got a makeshift when they slid Joe Thuney out.
Yeah.
But it's still a guard playing tackle. And I think Joe Thuney's one of the best guards in the NFL, hands down. Like one of the guys I've loved watching. But now you got a backup in at left guard. You got Milton Williams in there, who played a phenomenal game. So happy for him and how he's progressed in his career. Jalen Carter, you see Nolan Smith. I mean, Jesus. And not even just that game. This is an undersized guy, which can relate, Nolan. Undersized guy going in there, having and turned into this physical run stopper. The pass rushing stuff, I can get fired up. But when teams are running counter at you, they're doing that because they think they can get a good kick out on you.
Yeah.
And he's taking on Trey Smith, one of the most aggressive guards in the league, in my opinion, and stunting him and knocking him back.
Yeah.
And I think that the whole way that they've all played really, really well, I think that the coaches have done a phenomenal job. Clint Hurt, Bobby King, Vic Fangio, all of those guys on that side of the ball, they played so fantastic in this game.
Jason,
so
go ahead, John.
What about the fact that they did play so fantastic? It felt like it was like a taper, like the Olympic athletes prior to the 100-meter dash.
Yeah.
They're tapering everything they're doing to prepare to be the ultimate competition. How in the world did Nick, this coaching staff, how did they time it up so perfectly with this team?
And let me ask this, Jason, as a follow-up.
Yeah.
Does the easier training camp play a part of that? I mean, it feels, this was a hot button topic the last few years around
here. But they made it harder.
I was about to say, it was harder this year.
Yeah, but that's fair. That's right.
They're always
still not hard.
They're always going to err on going where the science and like the, what exercise science is kind of progressing the game towards, which is, for lack of a better term, an easier training camp.
Yeah.
And I think what Nick did a really good job of this year is realizing there's still times you got to push these guys into these areas of mental fatigue and having to make decisions when that happens. I think it feels like they did a better job managing that beginning of the season.
Who deserves that?
I think that the reason I think they're peaking at the right time is a byproduct of the meticulous effort of getting better each and every week. I don't think that this is like hey, we're going to like slow roll the entire NFL at the beginning of the season and then just jumping on at the end. These guys, they weren't the best team in the NFL the first 4 weeks of the season. They were 2-2. They couldn't stop an outside zone play to save their life. They got demolished by the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. But that is what happened earlier in the season. And the NFL season is a marathon. These guys continue to get better. Vic Fangio continued to hold the defense accountable and improve in that area. Clint Hurt got these guys better. They had the talent to get it done. They just had to continue to improve and reach their potential, which they ultimately got to. They got the highest out of their players and talent and coaches than any other team in the NFL by the end of the season. That's because they all remained accountable and stuck with the system and continue to improve each and every week.
Yeah, no question. Jason with us here in studio, obviously 4 days removed from one of the most glorious moments in Philadelphia sports history. Parade Day tomorrow. We'll have huge coverage of it tomorrow. Also coming up shortly, we'll get some more of the audio from the game. as the NFL last night released a ton of behind-the-scenes footage as Zach Bond, Jalen Hurts, Saquon Barkley, and Nick Sirianni were mic'd up, and you just hear a series of unbelievable interactions amongst teammates and coaches, celebrations, game planning, leadership. I mean, really some awesome stuff. So that's shortly. Let's get some calls in right now, 215-592-9494. Talk to Seth. He's calling from media. Good morning, Seth. Yo, Seth.
What I tell you guys last week, we were going to beat the brakes off of.
That's got to feel good.
And I stopped at beat them, Seth, but yes, they did beat the brakes off them. All right, Seth, what do you got for us, buddy?
Yo, that game was unbelievable. Man, all right, well, I'll say this. Of all the photos and things that are happening after a game, all the stuff that the NFL's releasing now with, like, it's the interactions between the players and stuff has just been phenomenal.
Yeah.
And one of my favorites, though, was just a still photo. I think it was Mekhi Becton sitting on the field. Just
with his son.
Powerful.
Man, dude, I watched that 3 or 4 times last night, and it just made me so happy to see that, because, like, that's another story of a guy that's just been, stuck in purgatory forever. You know what I mean? And there's a lot of guys on this team. You talk about, like, what makes Jalen so good or whatever. Man, this dude has always been doubted. And that's you talk about, like, being hyped for the speeches and stuff. Like, his whole career, he's been, put behind the 8 ball. I mean, I don't know about high school, but college and in the pros. And I just, hats off to this whole team for, really handing it to the Chiefs and just, you're putting all of that other nonsense to rest. I mean, that's to bed now. I don't even want to hear it. This dude is the real deal. He really is. And something I saw that was really funny last night was all of the clips of all the different languages calling the game.
Yeah,
right?
sure.
And the tagline said, Mahomes getting cooked in 13 languages.
All right, Seth, good phone call, man. Appreciate that. Let's listen right now because, again, we have a lot of the behind the scenes in the game moments on the field, off the field, on the sidelines. Let's go to when the Eagles get up 17-0. I thought it was the play of the game. It was voted. Ben, we had a poll earlier this week, play of the season.
Mm-hmm.
And this one, the Cooper DeJean interception TD return, won the poll over Saquon's backward leap. Which would you have voted for of those two? Totally different circumstances, to say the least.
Well, I guess you got to say Cooper's obviously pick 6.
See, here's what makes it
interesting.
interesting.
That's what I said, Ben. Yep.
Because of the situation.
It matters more. It
But,
just matters
but,
more.
but
here's the
what's
thing.
more fun to watch? Saquon.
Well, and Saquon's is the one more likely to win the ESPY award because it's the most outrageous. But I'm not ripping Cooper DeJean's play. I'm saying Cooper DeJean's really important, obviously. Saquon's more athletically unusual and brilliant. But anyway, let's go to the moment when Cooper DeJean gets the interception return for the touchdown. What you're about to hear, I want to tip you off because this is about a minute. You're going to hear Saquon with Cooper. You're going to hear Zach Bond with Cooper. My favorite part of this, you're going to hear CJ GJ bringing members of the team together to stay focused. You're also going to hear from Sirianni. Let's listen.
Do you believe us? That's a hell of a birthday present. You keep doing that, you're going to have even a better one. Keep going.
Hey, you saw I had the 2 guys to the flat, so you came off and stole a crosser? That's some veteran ass. I ain't that. That's some veteran ass. Good. We knew that was coming. Off. Hey, that's the first one, though. That's one.
Hey, Q, we right here. We right here. Got right back at it.
Way to go, kid. I really appreciate it. Thanks, kid.
Every time you make a play, just keep in mind everyone right here. So that clock strikes 0. You feel me?
We can get excited for a little bit. Oh, yeah. Even kills. Yeah, I know this was so good. Breathe in on 3. 1, 2, 3. Oh. Hey, right here, baby. Let's go.
You know, Jason, the biggest thing that stood out to me watching last night was the leadership.
Oh, yeah.
Saquon, Jalen, Brandon Graham, Bond, Sirianni as coach. Leadership was all over what I thought the NFL put out there last night and what the Eagles obviously put out there last week.
Yeah, I mean, this is one of the awesome things that NFL Films does. They get all this footage and this mic'd up stuff that happens on the sideline, and we get a glimpse into what it looked like as greatness was literally happening. And there's no surprise to me that you caught a bunch of incredible sound bites and guys. I mean, the Super Bowl is such a huge moment in your life, and there's a lot of emotion happening. And I just love hearing these sound bites of, hey, right here, keep it together, hey, stay your focus.
Yeah.
And like they all clearly, and I'd imagine it was a communicated stance all week from Nick Sirianni and guys that had been there and saying like, listen, do not let the moment make you make uncharacteristic things like what happened to the Kansas City Chiefs.
Well, especially because it's 2 years ago. When you say two
Well, for
years ago
sure.
played a real part with a 10-point lead and it fell apart, that had to be in their minds.
For sure. I think that was part of it. I think that that's what you're always preaching going into a Super Bowl. But the fact that so many players had the experience from 2 years before that, to then expound on that and to tell all the other guys, and like Saquon wasn't there before, but like he definitely talked to these guys all leading up to it. So they all knew like that was the messaging going into it. Like, stay your focus. We're the better team. If we just do our job, we will win this game. And that's what ended up happening.
No
Jason,
question.
you were the one in control of the protection calls when you were playing in that Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Watching 59, knowing that Jalen is the one making those calls, declaring the mic, getting guys situated up there at the line of scrimmage. How good a job did Jalen do in your old job, which was communicating the protections?
It's hard for me to know how good of a job he did communicating the protections because I wasn't out there, but he did a good job playing football. He played a master.
As good as I've ever seen.
He played an incredible game. I'm so happy for Jalen Hurts, man. Like, one of the callers brought it up before. Like, this guy's been through so much through college and high school, and he's faced a lot of criticism and doubt, even this year leading up to this game. I mean, and like, for him to go out there and play like that on the biggest stage possible, to be the Super Bowl MVP and to have that performance was just remarkable. And like I think he's done a good job handling blitzes in general all season long. And I don't think that was different this week. They had some hiccups against Washington the week before or the game before, but most of that was like there's obviously Landon was in there and he was hurt, and there's a lot of things going on there which caused that. So I think he did a phenomenal job. He knew when he needed to get rid of the ball, and that was a big thing that we talked about. One of the reasons it was awesome for him to take that next step of taking over protections is even when if the quarterback's handling protections, they're being forced to know all that stuff, and it accelerates the decision when you're not picked up and knowing when you're not picked up. And I think that all year ended up provingly a positive, thing that Jalen took on. Yeah.
One of the biggest plays of the game, and Jason with us here for about an hour, one of the biggest plays of the game, obviously, and it was like the ultimate dagger. There was basically no way the Chiefs could come back after this, was the bomb in the third quarter from Jalen to Devontae. Probably Jalen's best throw of the game. I can't imagine there was one better. It was a beautiful throw. And it was also a moment where a lot of coaching staffs, and I say coaching staff because I'm including Sirianni and Kellen Moore as play caller, probably would start, run, clock it. You're up 27-0.
I was shocked personally when they went
so
deep there.
Here's a fascinating moment. Let's go inside the audio. The moment when Sirianni and Kellen Moore, and Sirianni wants to go for the jugular. This is right after Avante had knocked away the ball. So on a fourth down, the Eagles get the ball back around midfield, and Sirianni wants to go for the jugular.
It's broken up by Avante Maddox.
Can we score? It's over. Yeah, I don't just call it. Just call it.
You know what I mean, John? If we score, that's a head coach saying in the third quarter. If in the third quarter,
put on the gas.
If we score, it's over. Like, let's go for call it.
Yeah.
Let's go for the bomb.
Well, I think you just brought it up. We were up 10-0 going into the half last time against these guys.
Yeah.
And, the Chiefs, even when you think they're down, they're a team that can, they just need one little spark, and all of a sudden Pat Mahomes can get into a rhythm.
No question. Sure.
And I thought that was clearly the end of the game. And no doubt about it in the back of my head that these guys going into this game were like, we're foot on the gas all the way. We're being aggressive, and that stayed true to what happened.
Yeah, no question. Let's get to JP calling from Plymouth Meeting. Good morning, JP.
Hey, guys. What's up?
JP!
Man, you talk about a ride. I tell you what, when I mean natural high, you can't get any higher than this. I'm watching the Tonight Show because did you guys catch the Tonight Show with Jalen Hurts?
Oh,
and
yeah.
Saquon Barkley?
Absolutely.
That was the funniest thing ever.
Jalen had jokes.
I'm turning on the View just to see what Jalen Hurts was saying yesterday. I'm enjoying every single second of it. I mean, I said it last Friday. I said in the beginning of the week, I was saying blowout, but everybody told me to come back to reality. But I was saying blowout. They did their job. I knew when Cooper DeJean hit that interception for the pick six, I got up saying happy birthday, turned to my friends and said, the game's over. We got this one.
Yeah, I didn't feel it at 17-0. I felt very confident, but not over. I think by the time Ball made the interception, because the three plays all happened probably within a minute or so. The Cooper DeJean interception, the Ball interception, and the AJ touchdown probably all happened within about 1 minute of game time. And that took 10-0 to 24-0. And then it was, actually, maybe there was one possession in between. I could be wrong, but it happened fairly quick. Let's put it that way.
Guys, I love talking to you. I'm glad I got through. Jason, sir, this one's for you.
Good stuff, JP.
Thanks,
well done.
JP.
So, Jason, let's talk about the parade tomorrow. Matter of fact, before we talk parade tomorrow, let's talk parade 7 years ago. Because one of the things we're fooling around with today, and in a joking way, in an inquisitive way, who's going to be the guy tomorrow? So Chase Utley was the guy in 08. You were the guy times 10 in 2017. We're going to try to find out who's going to be the guy tomorrow. But before that, let's relive one of the great moments in Philadelphia, one of the great off-the-field moments in Philadelphia sports history. We'll give you about the final minute or so of Jason's speech 7 years ago.
It's y'all, Philadelphia.
Are we allowed to air this?
For 52 years, y'all have been waiting for this. You want to talk about underdog? You want to talk about a hungry dog? For 52 years, you've been starved in this championship. You know what's up. Everybody wonders why we're so mean. Everybody wonders why the Philadelphia Eagles aren't the nicest fans. If I don't eat breakfast, I'm pissed off. No one wanted us. No one liked this team. No analyst liked this team to win the Super Bowl, and nobody likes our fans. And you know what? I've just heard one of the best chants this past day, and it's one of my favorite, and it's new, and I hope y'all learn it, because I'm about to drop it right now. You know what I got to say to all those people that doubted us, to all those people that counted us out, and to everybody who said that we couldn't get it done? What my man Jay and Jai just said. Fuck you!
I didn't say it. Jay Jai
Awesome. I got such a shot of adrenaline going through me right now. And
fun.
Jason, to know that tomorrow it's on again, man. And it's so rare. And it is on tomorrow in the city of Philadelphia. It's so freaking awesome.
Yeah, it's going to be incredible. I can't wait to see what the speeches are. I can't wait to see all the shenanigans that are going to happen down Broad Street. You got to make sure you get up, get a good breakfast in, get a solid breakfast in. I advise sticking to light beer. You go to liquor and you'll be up there slurring words on the stage.
Such a good point.
Stick to light beer. But yeah, enjoy the day, enjoy the moment. It's it'll be interesting on this side because when you're going down, it is nonstop. It feels like it flies by and you're going down the Broad Street for hours. And it's just such a special moment where you really, as a player, you get to see full force how much it means to the entire city and how much it means to the entire fan base. So it was undoubtedly one of the most fun experiences of my lifetime before the speech. It was just absolutely fantastic.
Well, how aware were you at the time that your contribution to the parade would become so legendary.
I did not know. I mean, I didn't know how it was
I
going to
mean,
be
you had
received.
to know it would cause a bit of a
thought it was
stir.
good. I mean,
the way
listen,
you're
in my head,
dressed
well, yeah.
out the gates.
But we were all talking about wearing weird things and dressing and like wearing like throwback jerseys initially, and
You
then,
took it a little farther than that.
I figured we're doing a parade. Might do
and it was
Philadelphia style.
That's the thing. It was pure Philly.
Yeah,
It was
and I
Philly.
like, you know what?
Perfect.
And my
Jason.
my barber / hairstylist Libby, her husband, was a mummer, and I reached out like, hey, is there any chance to get a mummer suit? Like, it just feels like the right thing to have on. And
Yeah.
Nailed it.
yeah.
So, Jason, I don't expect anyone tomorrow to get to the level you got to because, that is such an absurdly high level. but who do you think? I mean, you know the guys well. Who do you think is most likely, like tomorrow night when we're like, wow, what a parade, what a day. Who's the guy we say that speech really stood out?
That's a great question. I don't know. I think of the guys that I think that are the best in front of a camera with like a microphone in their face. I think, Jordan Mailata is very good with that. Brandon Graham's very good at that. I think I could also see Saquon Barkley ripping something out.
Mm-hmm. He's
got a great story, and he's just a very well-spoken guy. I think Nick Sirianni could do something. I think.
Do you feel responsible? Do you feel responsible in a negative way? How difficult you're making this on everyone else for the team?
I always felt like my brother was trying to live up to the speeches. He's trying to hit, but I don't know. I think what makes a great speech is when the orator, their personality and who they are authentically comes out. And I think that's the key. Like Chase Utley did it in 3 words. His speech is the best speech ever. He did it in 3 words, but it took me 7 minutes to expound on. So I think, there'll be somebody up there tomorrow. I have full confidence that is going to go up there and deliver something from the bottom of their heart that's going to connect with millions of people in the city of Philadelphia, and it's going to be fantastic.
Ben thinks it's going to be Sirianni. Ben, if Sirianni goes, and I use the term, off the script, meaning if he really lets it out, it would be something.
It would be something, and it's something that could happen. Maybe it just finally comes out of him. It says, you know what? He's kind of kept it to himself for a while. And it could just erupt at any minute.
Here was a visual. I'm sorry, Ben. Jason, go ahead.
I really want him to have his kids on the podium, and
I did too.
I was like, man, this needs to be a giant middle finger to everybody.
That's what I'm saying. That's why I think it might come out.
It might. It could. I know it's in there, and he's a very aggressive individual in general, which we all love about Nick. And but I think I don't know. We'll see. I don't want to put any presumptive things on any of these guys' plates. Whatever they do in the moment's going to be right.
Well, I'll give you a moment that to me really stood out from what the NFL released last night, because I think in the post-game podium stuff, I think Sirianni still was. I'll just say on the more guarded side. I think he's become trained essentially to be careful with what he says and all that. But I thought the moment from what the NFL released last night that showed the most of him. Letting his guard down publicly in a beautiful way was when he hugged his parents.
Yeah.
And if you haven't seen it yet, it's really special. There's a moment. Let me put it this way. I assume it's his mom and dad. I mean, they look like they'd be the age of the mom and dad. So I'm sure it's his mom and dad. And he kind of puts his head on one of them. I forget which, but I always think of when an athlete, I remember when Oral Hershiser won it all in 88, and there was a moment they lift him up, and then Ben, you probably remember this. You can see it almost drain out of him like it's over.
It's over.
It's like, I did it, we did it, and I can breathe and let my body go and let my and I saw with Nick when he hugged his parents, it was one of those I can let it. I don't have to be on guard.
Mm-hmm.
We won the Super Bowl. Let's listen a little bit more. It's really beautiful. Let's listen a little bit more of the celebrations that were going on, because what the NFL released yesterday was just a series of unbelievable behind the scenes audio of what was happening both on and off the field. Let's listen after the game had just ended. The celebration, it's like the first minute of the celebration. You're going to hear Howie with Saquon. You're going to hear Hurts in the moment he's told that he's the MVP, and his response is phenomenal. and you're going to hear Nick Sirianni with Andy Reid in addition to more. Here's the minute after the game ends.
Love you, Coach. On real, what we did, man. This is special. Awesome, man. Special.
It's over. The Philadelphia Eagles have won Super Bowl 59. They have beaten the Kansas City Chiefs 40-22. It's their second Super Bowl win in 7 years. Let's go! Let's go, boys. Hey, hold on, my back. Yes, come on. World champ, baby. World champ. That's two? That's two for you? Nothing like this. Yeah. It's over now. I told you. Now we can do that. MVP, good job.
You kidding? You believe in me. You know you believed in me, bro. You believed in me. I'm so proud of you. I love you. I'm so happy for you.
Hey, Super Bowl MVP. Super Bowl champ. There it is, right there.
Guys, hold on. Let this happen. Great job, man. It's on you. It was an honor going against you.
And that's Andy and Nick at the end. But, John, how about that thing when Jalen is told by an Eagle staffer, John Gannode is a good dude, he is told, you're the Super Bowl MVP, and his response is, Super Bowl champ. That is priorities, man. That's special.
For sure.
That's
That
outstanding.
is
That's
special.
exactly what you'd hope he'd say. Oh, it's perfect.
Jason, I mean, it is perfect. You're told you're the Super Bowl MVP, and his response is Super Bowl champion.
Yeah, and there's not an ounce of me that's surprised by that response at all. I mean, this guy's I know he gets a lot of criticism for being like even keeled and things at times, but I don't know that I've ever played with a player that has just been so one lane focused and just like maniacal. And, you know, when I think I've listed it, it's so funny because I've said this to like the team and people before I've used this, is like, when I think of like the horror character, I think of the guy that like, no matter what you do, you can't stop him. Like, he's not even running after you, but you know, he's always going to be coming. And, you know, from Freddy Krueger to like all of these guys, it's just, that's what people fear the most. It's the guy that just never stops. And they're maniacal in what they're going after. And that's the way this guy's been from the moment he's been a Philadelphia Eagle, from the moment we've got him here. It hasn't been the greatest road, but he's never let anything separate that goal. And like winning championships, I really truly think is the only thing this dude cares about. And it's brought him to this moment where he is the world champion.
Incredible. Well, Jason with us here in studio. It's 94 WIP HD1 Philadelphia as we celebrate together today from the Tasty Cake studio. Tomorrow, we'll be out on the road. Tomorrow, we will be with you amongst millions, literally millions. No, we'll do our show not outside. Well, actually, it might be outside. We're still trying to nail down final details, but we'll be out there somewhere. And then, of course, you know, John and I will all head out to the parade when it's over. Remember, parade details, here's what you need to know. 11 o'clock, the parade starts. So our show tomorrow will be kind of a pregame, if you will. 11 a.m., the parade officially begins at Broad and Pattison down in the sports complex. It will then go up north on Broad Street, obviously. It's going to go along the west side of City Hall. It's going to get to JFK Boulevard. There's going to be a turn on 16th Street and then ultimately to the Ben Franklin Parkway, all ultimately culminating in a setup at the Art Museum, which is where it was 7 years ago. The expectation is that the buses will move from 11 when it starts to around 12:30 to 1. So about an hour and a half or 2 hours. I mean, Jason, what do they go? 4 miles an hour? 2 miles an hour?
It was slow enough that the moment we got out of the NovaCare park or the Link parking lot, I just got out the bus and just started walking.
I remember that.
Yeah, because like I'm like, dude, why would I be on this confined to this like small area?
Right.
I'm gonna go drink and enjoy this moment with all these people that came here and like separated, like either took off work or they're all here today. And
how much do you think you ended up walking for the total?
How long's the trip? I mean, they kept trying to get us back on the bus because there was a lot of security. And they're like, guys, this is very dangerous. And we're like, no, it's not. It's gonna be fine. And I'll never forget. Cool. I forget which Eagles executive it was before we left, and he's like, and there was a whole lot of hoopla about like they're not going to have alcohol provided on the buses, and I'm like, what are you guys talking about? Like, what are we acting? Why are we not doing this? And and I made a big stink in the team meeting about it, and all of a sudden we get out of there, and right before we head out, one of the executives that was running that team meeting was like, hey, Jason, have a lot of fun today. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to.
That's great, man.
To that.
That's great. So
Didn't need to tell me that, but
exactly.
I appreciate your yeah.
So for tomorrow, it gets to the art museum around 12:30 or 1. Then they'll set up shop and then crank up the speeches, which are slated to begin the ceremonies themselves around 2. And they expect it to go for about an hour and 15 minutes. Should be a great day. Reminder, WIP tomorrow, wall-to-wall coverage, not only the speeches, but tons of interviews. We're just, we're going to have people out and about. We want to talk to listeners. We want to talk to notable Eagles players from the past, players on the team right now. It's going to be a great celebration. I encourage everybody to get the Odyssey app, especially if you're not going to be home. If you're going to be at the parade, get the app, because at the app, you can listen to the parade, but you got to have that app. All right. You don't have a car, so get the app. You can have something right there in your ear, listen with ease. And I would definitely encourage people to do that. All right, let's go to the phones. 215-592-9494. Talk to Zach. He's calling from Medford, New Jersey. Zach, good morning to you.
A glorious morning to all of you.
Oh,
indeed, Zach.
A glorious week, my man.
Absolutely. I have 1,000,001 things to say. We're just going to start off with this. Celtic, get the bell ready.
There you go, man. Get out the way.
That's right.
Got to start with it. Thank you, morning crew. Thank you, Jason. Thank you, Ben, all the guests. You guys have made this so magical. I have 2 words that I kind of came to during the game and after the game that kind of describe both the Super Bowl and the season as a whole. And I'd like to share that with you guys.
Please do.
So the first word, we've been getting a lot of D words. We've been getting demolish, dominate. I'd like to drop a medical word. I'm an ultrasound tech.
Oh, nice.
Dissected.
Yeah,
We
pretty good.
absolutely dissected the Chiefs. Jalen Hurts, a surgeon. You talk about ripping the opponent's hearts out. We didn't just rip their heart out. We surgically removed their heart.
I agree, man. And also Fangio, when you talk about dissecting, I mean, that's the Chiefs weren't an all-time offense. They weren't on the same level as some past years, but they were still pretty damn good. And for Fangio and the skill of the players, obviously as comprised by Howie with the draft picks and all that, I mean, it was an all-time defensive performance.
Yes.
Yes, and that brings me to my next word, redemption. You talk about guys like Vic Fangio, Saquon, Mekhi Becton, Zach Bond, Jake Elliott, the 23 Eagles, and finally Jalen Hurts and Nick Sirianni. I don't want to hear a damn thing about Nick and Jalen being shown the door, being given trouble. These guys are winners. These guys have done nothing but bring success, bring joy and happiness to the city. These guys finally brought it home. I don't want to hear a damn thing about either of them.
Listen, Zach, and appreciate the call. There's no question those guys stepped up in a massive way. Jalen, you got 1,000,000 hats right now, so you don't really need another gig.
Jason,
I'm sorry. What did I
I
call
would
you,
love
Jalen?
to be Jalen right now.
No, right. So, Jason, you're wearing 1,000,000 hats these days, but I'll tell you a good one to wear, and it's probably not going to be on you.
Sure.
Nick Sirianni's agent.
Oh,
boy.
yeah.
Oh, yeah. Nick's about to get paid.
Well,
Nick's about to get paid.
And well deserved.
Yeah. This is the beautiful thing about all the agents of every Eagles agent is foaming at the mouth right now. I mean, all these guys played some of the best years of their careers.
Yeah. And John, who's one of the biggest bargains still? It will be next year. Saquon Barkley. I mean, I think that Saquon Barkley, like he makes James. What does he make compared to Paul George, who scored 2 points last night?
Oh my God, I don't want to think about it. Like, third or fourth or something.
About 1/4 of Paul George.
I don't know, but you just upset me. Why are you inserting Paul George and his pinky and 2 points into this conversation?
Yeah, if you missed it, PG2, not PG-13, PG2 last night. So Saquon obviously is a total stud. I hope he can sustain it long enough here that someday he can get to the Hall of Fame. He's still got a long way to go because those Giants years really unfortunately set him back. But the Eagles brought him here. Saquon delivered as few athletes ever had. I mean, Moses obviously in 83. There's a couple guys upon joining a team first year that it's just a totally different level. And you can tell the appreciation that Jeffrey Lurie and Nick Sirianni have for Saquon, both on and off the field.
Jalen Hurts telling him about it on the sideline.
Well, that as well. We'll get to that later, but let me get to a specific piece of audio involving Lurie and Sirianni right now with Saquon after the game.
Unbelievable. You led the way, but you're so the epitome of everything I believe in. Everything. I'm proud of you, man. Come on, man. Man, we can't be great without the greatness of others. We need you. I told you changed this team. You changed this team. You, right? You're special, man. You're special. Thanks. Not the player. I didn't care about the player. You're a special leader, right?
I mean, Jason, it was an all-time year by a guy, man.
And, listen, as a player, he is very special. But I think Nick is hitting on what I think is really unique about this guy. There are a lot of great running backs. I don't think anybody as good as Saquon, but it's the entire package with this guy. It's how he conducts himself. You heard it in the NFL Films clips. You hear him each week. I gave him a Hemi Award or whatever on Monday Night Football for like the Player of the Week or whatever. And he's like, dude, don't give that to the O-line, right? And this is a guy that like fully understands. And this is where you get a guy. It is truly a crime and a shame how mismanaged the New York Giants office and how poor the decisions that they made led to this guy having such a rough start to his career.
He really might miss the Hall of Fame.
And they tried. They tried to invest in offensive linemen and all this stuff, and it just didn't work out. And he bore the brunt of that. And we saw it this year when he is in a conducive situation with a great group of coaches and offensive linemen, what he can do. And he set the record for the most yards in the history of the NFL by a running back.
Unbelievable.
So I think he understands because of that. And maybe he's known this his whole life, but I'm sure he thinks about that. And he's very appreciative of being here and all these guys that are around him. And it was so evident in everything he did all year. And the way he talked about his teammates, the way he talked about the team, the way he motivated the guys, everything. He was just so happy to be a Philadelphia Eagle. And immensely happy for him.
The one comparison I'll say in recent years, Ben, it reminded me a little bit of Roy Halladay when he joined the Phils after the Blue Jays.
Yeah.
Only difference, obviously, Saquon and the Eagles took it the distance and won it all.
Yeah.
Obviously,
that's a good comp.
Right? Because
that's a very good comp.
Held down by who they were with.
Correct.
And the one thing that makes Saquon's different than Roy Halladay is great pitcher can go out there and win your 20 games on a bad team because you're that great. You can do that. Great running back. If you don't have a line or a quarterback or wide receivers, you're going to just get gobbled up.
And that's evident what happened to him in New York.
No question. 215-592-9494. All right, more coming up of this exceptional audio as released by the NFL last night. A lot of behind-the-scenes stuff on the field, off the field. It's really incredible. More of that, more with Jason as well. We all celebrate today, and we'll celebrate tomorrow with Parade Day right here on 94 WIP.
When the game tips off, the NBA action is just beginning on FanDuel in partnership with Valley Forge Casino, America's #1 sports book, because FanDuel is your home for NBA live betting. So even if you missed the first few minutes of the game or want to bet on a fourth quarter comeback, you can make your picks from the first whistle until the final buzzer. Plus, you can even combine your live bets into a same-game parlay for a shot at an even bigger payout. However you want to play, now is the perfect time to join. New FanDuel customers get started with $150 in bonus bets if your first $5 bet wins. Just visit FanDuel.com/JohnR, JONR, to join today. Make every moment more with FanDuel, official sports betting partner of the NBA. FanDuel Sportsbook is the official partner of 94 WIP. That's FanDuel.com/JohnR, JONR, for your shot at $150 in bonus bets.
21 plus and present in Pennsylvania. First online real money wager only. $5 first deposit required. Bonus issued is now withdrawable bonus bets, which expire 7 days after receipt. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Includes all rebates and incentives. Offers cannot be combined. Excludes taxes and tax. Jack Dell and every member of the team at Dell Chevrolet have a heart on this month. Why do they have a heart on? For the Valentine's Day sales event at Dell Chevy. All month long, speak to a friendly Dell Chevrolet associate with a heart name tag about sweetheart deals on a new Chevrolet. We don't want to sound cocky, but while other dealers may be full of working stiffs who try to give you the shaft and come up short, Dell Chevrolet remains the Delaware Valley's preferred truck and SUV headquarters, with over 300 trucks and SUVs ready to roll. At Dell Chevrolet, we have a soft spot for your trade. No one will give you more. A winning threesome. You, Jack Dell, and a new car or truck with a Dell Vehicle Exchange Program. Get into your new car or truck and keep your payments the same, or maybe even make them less. Dell Chevy is located on Route 30 in Paoli. If you're worried you're going to pay too much for your next car, you don't know Jack. Online at DellChevrolet.com. Say habla español.
Jack, sell them for less. In a world filled with financial information, Citizens can help you make sense of it. So whether you're listening to that new financial podcast that's hotter than your morning coffee, flipping through that financial guru's 1,000-page book on simple finances, or getting tips from a coworker that actually sound kind of interesting, you're ready to make the most of it. Make sense of your money with Citizens. Learn more at citizensbank.com/made-ready.
Xfinity here. How can we help?
Hi. My daughter invited her entire class to her birthday party. Can my Wi-Fi handle it?
Oh, well, at Xfinity, our latest gateways have tri-band Wi-Fi technology, letting you connect hundreds of devices at once.
No way. So if all the kids are watching stuff on their phones, while their parents are sharing videos online.
Yep, go ahead and watch videos. They can all do their thing and party their way. No problem.
Oh, we are going to need a bigger cake.
Now through March 21st, get fast, reliable 300 megabit Xfinity internet with unlimited data included and an unlimited mobile line for just $30 a month for 1 year. Visit Xfinity.com, call 1-800-XFINITY, or visit a store today. Restrictions apply. Requires paperless plan and auto-pay with stored bank account. Equipment, taxes, and fees extra. After promo, regular rates apply. Xfinity internet required. Reduce mobile speeds after use of monthly data included with your data option. Data thresholds and actual internet speeds vary.
I'm Bob Burke, founder and chairman of Burke America Parts Group, a family of brands that includes RepairClinic.com, an appliance and HVAC parts solution company that's grown into an international brand. Before AmericanEagle.com, we partially launched a new technology platform developed by another firm. American Eagle helped take our technology to a whole new level with digital marketing, software development, and business insights into our key markets, appliances, HVAC, and outdoor power equipment, and did so both on time and on budget. AmericanEagle.com has the resources, experience, and talent needed to produce solutions. Our new technology platform, developed by AmericanEagle.com, has produced tremendous results with higher traffic, conversion, engagement, and online revenue. If you have any home repairs you need to take care of, check us out at RepairClinic.com. If you need a world-class website or technology project, then I would highly recommend AmericanEagle.com.
Call AmericanEagle.com at 773-NETWORK. That's AmericanEagle.com, 773-NETWORK.
Hey, Philly, a great lawn is like a great sports team. It takes expertise and a little extra care to really stand out. True Green is the local expert in Philly and the official lawn care treatment provider of the PGA Tour. They know a lot about keeping grass looking like a fairway, and it's more affordable than you think. They'll even match any competitor's price. True Green backs it all up with a satisfaction guarantee. Not happy? They'll come back between visits to make it right. Head to TrueGreen.com today. Let the pros do the work while you sit back and enjoy the results.
Welcome to TGL, presented by SoFi, golf's newest league, live on ESPN and ESPN Plus. It's 2 hours of hammer-dropping, overtime-forcing, playoffs on the line golf. Tiger, Rory, and more of the best from the PGA Tour, split into 6 teams. Learn more at TGLGolf.com. Tune in every week for TGL matches. Keep up, it's golf.
Still getting around to that fix on your car? You got this. On eBay, you'll find millions of parts guaranteed to fit. Doesn't matter if it's a major engine repair or your first time swapping your windshield wipers. eBay has that part you need, ready to click perfectly into place for changes big and small, loud or quiet. Find all the parts you need at prices you'll love, guaranteed to fit every time. But you already know that. eBay, things, people, love. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
Hi, I'm Kelsey Grammer. Wounded Warrior Project supports injured veterans by connecting them with fellow warriors, by serving them through mental health and wellness programs, and by empowering them to live on their own terms. No one should face a battle alone. Join us at woundedwarriorproject.org.
This is Boomer Esiason with an Odyssey Sports Minute, sponsored by Tax Slayer. Get your max refund at taxslayer.com and file fearlessly. Eagles wide receiver and literary influencer A.J. Brown posted an interesting take that being a champion at the highest level wasn't what he had imagined. Instead, his thrill for the game comes when he dominates a defensive back. He lives for the sacrifices, the hunt, and the journey. He's a deep thinker. I'm Boomer Esiason.
Hey, Jetta Cameron here. Isn't it time to invest in yourself? Well, I certainly say it is. So how about you start with PI Dental Center and their decades of experience in complex dental treatment, of which I have been a patient for 2 decades. My mom a patient there for 3 decades with Dr. Glenn Wolfinger and Dr. Robert Slale, both board-certified prosthodontists. They specialize in the restoration and the replacement of teeth. PI Dental Center are also the originators of the Teeth in a Day. That's a revolutionary treatment that delivers fixed teeth and implants placed for a dramatic transformation in a mere 1 day. Here's what this all means. if you got a big old problem with your teeth, and most people in society don't, but some do, and if you're one of them, that is no good. Get yourself to PI Dental Center. They can really help fix you up. Whether it is a lifelong problem you've always had and never got resolved, or perhaps more recently an accident, a fall, you got banged up, and you're looking for a solution quick, well, PI Dental Center can provide it. Fort Washington's their base. Start with their website, pidentalcenter.com. Visit pidentalcenter.com to request your new patient evaluation.
94 WIP Sports Update.
Brought to you by Borgata Hotel, Casino, and Spa. Eagles parade down Broad Street is tomorrow, following their complete domination of the Chiefs in the Super Bowl, which was as much of a surprise to Jason Kelce as the rest of us.
Well, nobody demolishes the Chiefs. They were 15-1 in the regular season. The only game they lost was against the Buffalo Bills, who were another fantastic team.
Yeah.
And that came down to the wire. It came down to a Josh Allen fourth down conversion that really sealed the deal for him. So I don't know that anybody anticipated that kind of, what's the belt to the ass?
Yes, Jason, that is exactly how you say it. Landon Dickerson told the NFL Network he'll most likely get his knee looked at next week. Unsure what's wrong. He gutted through in the Super Bowl, an injury he suffered in the Birds Conference Championship win over Washington. Visit BorgataSports.com for boosted odds specials, daily promotions, in-game betting, and much more. Must be 21 or older, must be in New Jersey. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Morning showers, cloudy later, high 52. It is currently 37. Listen to Sports Radio 94 WIP on your streaming device. Just download the free Odyssey app or tell your smart speaker to play 94 WIP.
Sports Update on 94 WIP. Former Eagle John Ritchie. Future President Joe DeCamara. This is the morning show on Sports Radio 94 WIP.
Well, an all-time great song. During an all-time great week. The Birds! Yeah, baby. We celebrate today, but James Seltzer, we really celebrate tomorrow.
Tomorrow is it's amazing that in 1 week time I can have two of the greatest days of my life, because I have one on Sunday and I know tomorrow's gonna be the great days of my life.
And it's so cool to have Jason with us here, who obviously was the star of stars 7 years ago when the city of Philadelphia celebrated, obviously, Jason's legendary speech. Look, we'll find out tomorrow who's the guy that rises up. By the way, Jason is big.
Can I ask Seltzer a question?
Yes.
Are you playing the song because of Tiger or just because it's a banger?
Just because it's a banger. Yeah.
The Eagles fan Tiger Beck that passed away. This was like his favorite song.
Get out of here.
Yes.
Well, that makes it that much cooler.
I thought that was awesome. Anyways, go ahead.
That's nice. All right,
That's
Jason,
awesome.
does Big Dom get to the podium tomorrow? We don't get to hear from him much, but the city of Philadelphia wants to hear from Big Dom.
That would surprise me, but I mean I would love to see it. So yeah,
no, it's not gonna happen. So Jason, let me give you a compliment, and by way of compliment to you, but to Stoutland, and I'm even going to go to Andy Reid, and I'm certainly going to go to all the current players on the line who were all part of tonight's show 2 nights ago. So I made this point about a week ago, and I think it's true. The two most famous lines of my offensive lines of my lifetime until the last few years were the Hogs in the 80s, right? Joe Gibbs and the Hogs, and the Dallas Cowboys line of the 1990s. I mean,
Denver Broncos had a pretty...
but not as famous. Not as
like
famous.
Stepnoski and Larry Allen and Nate.
They were stars.
I'm with you, Richie. I think that Denver Broncos deal was very...
It changed the league.
But they weren't stars. They weren't American stars.
Tom Dalen, Mark Schlereth.
Schlereth's the only one who
in retirement.
Yeah.
But Jason, here's my point, man. You guys for about 10 years now, like I think you have established Stoutland, Mailata, Brandon Brooks.
Yeah.
Like to me, Landon Dickerson replaced Brandon Brooks. Like I lost a great all-time guard. I got a great all-time guard. Like you guys, man, in my opinion, foundation of the Eagles. And I think it started with Andy and Banner and the way they ran this thing and the way they built it up. Howie learned from those guys and like the pipeline. And you think about it from 17 since lost lost
Jason Peters.
Lost Brandon Brooks,
Isaac Seumalo,
and it just keeps rolling on, man. It's really incredible.
No, it's one of the things that the Eagles have always done since I've been here is invest in the offensive line. And that predates, you brought it up, Andy Reid, that was big to him, and Joe Banner, and certainly Howie Roseman believes in that same philosophy.
It's what Buddy Ryan didn't have. They had all the skilled position players, and they couldn't block.
Yeah, it's
block.
And we saw what it did to the Chiefs in the game. Like, and the Chiefs have a very good interior offensive line, but that's what's so hard about offensive line. You have one weak guy, they're going to find a way to expose him. You have 2 weak guys, you're screwed.
Right.
Because you can kind of finagle some things to mask one weakness. You got 2. Good luck, brother. And like injuries to the offensive line are probably one of the reasons Andy got fired in the first place. Injuries to the offensive line are a big thing that crippled Chip Kelly. Like, the trenches are so important, and the Eagles have invested greatly in all of those, in all of the offensive linemen and defensive linemen, which has paid dividends towards their success. I agree. I think this line is turned into one of the great lines and has been great for a number of years now to be in that category. And the year that they just had this year with Saquon that Jeff Stoutland put together, Jordan Mailata has turned into the best tackle in the NFL at everything. Lane is still the best pass blocking tackle. Jordan, what he does in the run game and everything else is truly remarkable. This guy didn't even know how to play football 7 years ago.
So crazy.
I remember him coming in, and there's like 2 years of learning the game where you're like, I don't know if this guy's going to figure it out. Like,
wow. There was a question as to whether he would be able to play football.
He didn't understand the game at first.
Yeah.
Right. And like, people don't realize it, but offensive line is one of the great, it's a position that is unathletic by nature. Like, you're taught techniques and things that aren't natural, and it takes time to develop that and to understand that. And I think
that's interesting.
Yeah,
retreat while punching forward. And
if you had somebody just threw an athlete out there and had them play offensive line, there's no way they would do the proper technique and things that come natural, right? It's just that's where it's different.
Yeah, it is unnatural.
And the best coaches find a way to teach those techniques while keeping it natural. That's something that Howard Mudd did a phenomenal job, and Jeff Stoutland does a great job of. But any of that, it didn't. The first 2 years into Jordan's career, it's like, he doesn't know where the quarterback's at, so he doesn't know the proper angle, the set point. He doesn't know what an inside zone is. He doesn't know what an overfront is. Like, any of these like rudimentary things.
That's incredible to think about. It's almost distracting for the guys who do know football to have a guy in the room who needs this stuff explained to him.
Well, that's why they didn't play him for 2 years. He didn't play for 2 years.
Correct. Yeah. And he played a guy in practice, and this is what's so good about football. Like, there's a guy, Joe Osterman. Nobody in Philadelphia has a clue who this guy is.
No, I don't.
Right?
Yeah.
He gave Jordan a lot of fits in practice because he was a smaller, sawed-off end who wasn't good enough to start in the NFL, but was the perfect mismatch for Jordan Mailata early in his career.
Because he had to bend?
Because Jordan had to bend. He had to play with good balance because this guy was like jitterbug on the edge.
Yeah.
So you couldn't lean. You had to play with good feet and good hands. And and we're like, I don't know if he's going to be able. He can't block Joe. How's he going to block these starting ends? then he goes in there in a starting game, and he's blocking like in Pittsburgh the best defensive ends in the league. And you're like, oh, maybe that's just like the worst mismatch possible for this guy. And now that he's playing somebody more appropriate in stature,
it's a great story, man.
So, anyways,
cow.
and to me, between this career arc of Jordan Mailata and Lane Johnson, both guys that have only had Jeff Stoutland. Saquon Barkley now holding this record, which is a big part of Stoutland's not only coaching of the offensive line, but game plan prep for the run game. This has been such like a career, not that he needed any more accolades, like for Jeff Stoutland and this offensive line group, it's just been phenomenal.
Look, I've made the point, I made it last week about Spagnuolo, actually, that I think non-head coaches should get Hall of Fame consideration.
Yeah.
And like a guy like Jeff Stoutland has impacted who has won the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Twice. He has been a huge part of creating Super Bowl champions. I mean, to take Jordan Mailata and make him something and then make him exceptional.
Yeah.
Like Stoutland
He's one of the only coaches who was a part of 2 Super Bowls,
He's not going to get a Hall of Fame vote, and maybe in the next 100 years, no offensive line coach will. But
I have a feeling that's going to change. I do because I think people recognize that now, and I think that there's going to be more pressure to put guys like Jeff Stoutland in, especially in a market like this. And there's not really another job that, like, if you want to get in the Hall of Fame as a coach, you got to be a head coach.
That's it.
They're not hiring offensive line coaches to be head coaches. So, like, why would you disparage like the impact that this guy has towards I mean, I think everybody undoubtedly would say that Jeff Stoutland impacted 2 Super Bowls now
Look, Jason,
to maximum for the
That's an
Philadelphia
interesting
Eagles.
point, though.
What?
They're not hiring offensive line
Yeah,
coaches
well, it's
to be
rare.
head
Bugle,
coaches.
Bugle,
That is strange.
It happens
Art Shell
occasionally.
got it and Bugle got it,
Well,
but it's pretty
Andy
rare.
Reid famously was an offensive
Started.
line coach.
That's right.
But if you want to be a head coach, you really need to go offensive line to quarterback to head. Or,
That's right.
Or somehow get somebody to give you an offensive coordinator position first and then go there.
Like
No-
Hank Fraley.
Hey,
right? I mean, yeah.
Howdy, John.
Who's he the
He
offensive
does
coordinator?
Seattle. He's going to be offensive coordinator. Yeah,
so he
just got the
he's
job.
been the O-line
Get
coach.
out of here.
Yeah, I swear to God. Yeah.
Honey Buns.
he's
is
been the offensive line
coordinator
coach.
for the Seahawks.
Dude, he's been the offensive line coach for the Detroit Lions.
Yeah.
So, like,
Wow. He did a good job then.
he did a phenomenal job. I think he's going to do a great job in Seattle, too.
Oh,
I think
that's
Hank's a really
interesting.
good coach.
All right, let's get some calls in here. Jason with us for a few more minutes. Parade day tomorrow, and again, more of the audio that the NFL released last night. We'll get to that shortly. Also, John, we got to have some fun with, we touched on this yesterday, but only for 2 seconds. Mr. T, yes, Mr. T, released a series.
B.A. Baracus, Mr.
B.A.
T.
Baracus, Clubber Lang, Mr. T, released a series of pro-Eagles tweets.
No way.
Wow.
Not just me. We
Are you
will-
going to do the read him
Can we
in
get
his
to
voice
the
again?
show?
Because that was a classic moment on the show.
I'm going to do as Mr. T and see if I can nail it or not. But other people can have a crack also. You know,
Joe's impression.
I pity the fool. I pity the Chiefs. I pity the fool. It's kind of fun.
Here's a little taste of the last time, just to get a feel.
Hey, man, curling's kind of what's the thing?
Hold on, pull it up.
From the Winter Olympics a couple years ago. Hey, man,
was an impeccable
curling's
impression.
kind of difficult.
That was just Mr. T.
That was Mr. T.
Absolutely
That's
nailed it.
Mr. T.
I'm like, what am I listening to right now?
Take some pity on me, man. I mean, here. Oh, hold on. Here's the
You
appropriate
don't
one.
change your voice.
Hold on.
Why are you doing an impression if you don't change your voice?
there.
I lay myself bare, John.
I
try.
I will go on record. I think Rocky 3 is the best Rocky.
Oh,
Thank
no.
you, Jason.
I do too.
Jason, we have fought to camera on this.
We agree.
We get into fights about it. Thank you, Jason.
When I used to
disappointed.
think Rocky 1 was the best, and selfishly, I always loved Rocky 4 just for like this weird obsession of ridiculousness.
It's neon. It's neon. Rocky 4 is neon.
But
1985.
I think Rocky 3, and I think once I became a professional athlete, Rocky 3 became very interesting, and the story and arc of it became very connecting with it. I don't know why. I mean, it's still
no tomorrow.
I'm disappointed.
You got Clubber Lang, you got Thunder Lips. it's just the most entertaining. You got the beach stuff.
I think there's
it's 99 minutes long.
The guy that's already climbed the mountaintop and then has to stay there resonated more with me. And these guys are going to deal with it now. This entire team is in Rocky 3 mode.
Yeah.
There's going to be a lot of Clubber Langs coming up.
Well, we'll have it'll be an interesting all season because Jason, all jokes aside, hopefully they do a better job than you guys did. I mean, there's no offense. 2018. And look, you had a million injuries. 2018, you had a million injuries.
Yeah.
And then, of course, the Carson thing, he never really got totally back on track.
It's really, really hard to repeat in the NFL. And I don't even want to get on that because we're so focused on
We'll get to it. Yeah.
But I think, the reality is it's very hard for a number of reasons. And, but I think I still, this team is younger and they have so much talent across the board.
Yeah.
And, we were very good in 2017. We also got very hot at the right time. Our quarterback got hurt. There was a lot more questions going into year 2 than I think these guys are going to have going into their second time.
Yeah. And I would think that the team, well, I'll say this. I hope the team's better prepared to replace the offensive coordinator. That was horrible luck with the freaking McDaniels guy backing out.
Totally. At the last minute.
Frank Reich way late. I mean, Frank is here, and then it's oops, no, McDaniels isn't the coach. Now Frank Reich is gone.
Also, that team.
By the way, Frank Reich could be the guy here.
Yeah, it could. That team also went to one Super Bowl and then, never again. This team at least had lost the Super Bowl, knows what it's like to go to one and have to come back the next season.
As an organization.
As an organization.
Yeah,
and a lot of the players.
I think we've seen, and this is one guy we haven't talked about today.
Oh, man.
Howie Roseman. You're talking about Hall of Fame.
Big time.
Come on now. This guy, how he's rebuilt the entire team from 2017, essentially. I mean, there's 4 guys, 5? 4 people on the team, some coaches, but the fact that he's rebuilt this entire thing is just such a awesome moment for Howie. There's the way he structures contracts, the way he builds a roster, his familiarity with the salary cap. And now the biggest weakness that I think people have had on Howie was drafting in the past.
Yeah.
these past 3 drafts, I mean, what are we talking about? This is
we couldn't draft wide receivers or cornerbacks, and now look at the cornerbacks we just got. Look at the wide receivers we got. Look, the defenders, the edge rushers.
It's really I agree.
Anyways, I think him being through this now, like he's been through it already in 2017. He's seen even in 2022, even though we lost, there was still a rebuilding thing a little bit with those teams. I think he's going to handle it a lot better as well.
Have you texted and I'm sure some conversations, but a lot of texts to the guys to
For sure. Yeah.
I mean, it's look, it's really special. Parade day tomorrow. We'll have wall-to-wall coverage here on WIP. We will be pregame of the parade because the parade starts at 11. Our show normal time 6 o'clock into Joe and Hugh, into Spike, Ike, and Jack. It's just going to be wall-to-wall coverage
Will we
tomorrow.
be pre-gaming during the pregame?
I would say that I'm going to abstain from answering that question.
Yeah.
Love that answer.
10 a.m. Rhea. 10 a.m.
All right, let's get to, but I will say this, Ray.
Did you say 5th?
Ray, here's where I'm at.
Nicely done,
Wow.
Rhea.
Well done,
Light
Ray.
beer, stay away from the liquor.
That's a good Irish laugh.
Well done by Ray. And Rhea, I am very happy it's on a Friday.
Yeah.
All right.
It's the greatest thing that ever happened to us. I'm so happy.
All right, let's get to Ed. He's calling from Phoenixville. Ed, good morning.
Good morning, guys. Good morning, Jason.
Morning.
You're missing a great opportunity to pitch your garage beers for tomorrow's festivities.
Wow.
Or you may already have that covered.
Yeah, I mean, I'm going to be drinking a few for sure.
There you go.
Yeah, and you're speaking of the pleading the fifth. I have to work from home, but it's going to be on, and I'm not saying I'm going to, but I'm also not saying I won't. Maybe enjoy a garage beer or two, but it's gonna be just a wonderful event, and so I just wanted to talk about Cooper DeJean for a second, and just rewatching that play after another like 4 or 5 times, just how impressed, and I think he was mic'd up, or one of the other players was mic'd up, talking about the next level sort of acumen that's required. Like when you're in, I think they're in a cover 4 or cover 6.
Yeah, it was him and Vaughn talking about recognition.
Yeah.
Where you had that underneath zone and to peel off your zone to recognize where that ball's going. It's just something you don't see in rookie corners. And I'm just thinking,
he's got an incredible feel. Incredible feel on top of the instincts, and that's not going to go away. That's going to continue to be honed, which is crazy to think about.
Yeah, and that's and there's going to be plenty of time to talk about like off season, like where the Eagles will go in the coming months. But I'm just thinking about when the Eagles drafted Lane Johnson. I think the initial plan was for him to step in at left tackle, and then he never made that switch, and he became the best right tackle of our generation. And I'm just thinking, well, Cooper DeJean can play outside corner, but he is so damn good at slot corner. Like I could easily see him just staying there and becoming maybe the best slot corner in the NFL.
Oh, I think they should.
Yeah. And especially with his tackling, he's a big, he's like pseudo linebacker guy in there, and that's a tackling spot.
He is perfect. I mean, like if you could draw up like a prototype of size, stature, athleticism to play nickel in the NFL. Right. I mean, that's what
because
he
takes care of the linebacker part better than any other cornerback I've ever seen.
You're freed up to you can do zone. You can do things where he's like responsible for a B gap in like a slot formation. You can do things where you can run man-to-man coverage on a slot receiver. That is these tweener guys are almost in some ways more important, or just as important as these premier guys on the outside. Sorry, I did not want to interrupt the caller, but
no, we're good. Ed, great call, buddy. Yeah. Great call.
Look, the defense changed when Cooper came in it. It was after the bye week. He didn't play until then all of a sudden, best defense we've ever seen.
That's right. That's right.
And we talked about him undercutting the route. And I think that there's a way of playing the game where you do what's on the card and you do like what the rule is in the book. And then there's another side of it where the player allows his instincts to take over.
He knows better than the rules.
And I think that the balance of that is finding coaches that know how to get players to do that in a responsible and coordinated way. And the best players in the league don't just do what the coach tells them to do. And the best coaches in the league allow their players to be themselves naturally within the confines of the defense. So I just think that Vic Fangio, what he's gotten out of this young player and the defensive backs coaches, it's been phenomenal watching him and Quinyon come in rookie year and play at this level.
Yeah. It's so exciting to think about the way it's going to develop. These young players being as talented as they are. I played against Junior Seau every year
Well,
for
he was a
5 years,
freelancer.
twice a year. Yeah, you want to talk about the freelancing, but all within the framework of the defense, it made it impossible to block him. He would always be right. He could always somehow manipulate the offense to destroy you.
Yeah, he was one of the all-time greats.
These young players have such an opportunity to just, especially with these big brains, with Vic Fangio coaching them up. Holy cow, the possibilities are endless. Their instincts are there to begin with, and then you add that level of just expertise.
Yeah.
Holy cow.
Watching these guys throughout the course of the year, at first I thought they were just too naive to realize how big the situation was.
Yeah.
And then as the season went on, I'm thinking, no, these guys are just really freaking good.
Yeah.
Like they're just really good.
Next
and
level.
athletic and tough. And you're right, next level. And they just, you know what? I deserve to be here.
And it looks like Jalen Hunt is coming on like a freight train.
Yeah.
Like that guy is going to be a real player next year and probably for a long way here. All right, couple final minutes with Jason here. Parade day tomorrow. Jason with us a few more minutes right now. Now, one of the things that's so fun about getting Jason in studios, we can really drill down and like, let me put it this way.
I want the truth.
All right. So let me say this. Seltzer, we got to get to the important things.
This is important.
This is important. So, Jason, I wave the cautionary flag at myself sometimes to not put you in a position to spill the beans too much because, I respect that you were behind the walls of the Novacare complex for years and you got to keep some stuff in house. I respect that.
Sure.
But we found out the Tush Push is not the Tush Push.
Name of it?
Yeah. Let's listen to the Tonight Show 2 nights ago. Then we're going to see, because I think it's a dirty name. And I got to guess, but we're going to find out. We're not going to find out. Let's listen to what happened on the Tonight Show a couple nights ago.
You scored 3 touchdowns on Sunday. You did. The first one was doing what people are calling the Tush Push. Yeah. Is that what you call it?
It's not what I call it.
It's not what you call it. No.
Not what I call it.
What do you call it?
I'm not going to say what I call it, but it's
okay. But it's not.
Everybody is came up with their own name for it. The brotherly shove, the Tush Push, all these different things. It's not that.
It's not that. No. Okay.
I was shocked too because when I got there, I known as the Tush Push, but I didn't know if that's what it would be called. But I thought it was called that, and it's not called the Tush Push actually.
No. What is your role in the quote unquote Tush Push?
I think I have the easiest job, to be honest. I think I'm the one who pushes the tush.
Right. So good. So great. And that is Saquon and obviously Jalen and Jimmy Fallon. All right, so Jason, I've heard 2 different theories. Now, I don't think we're going to get the truth out of you because I think it can't be said. That's my guess.
Well,
but I've heard 2 theories.
What are the theories?
Theory 1 is it's something really simple and bland like quarterback sneak.
Yeah, that's my theory.
Theory two is it's something really dirty.
Yeah.
And that's why it couldn't be said on the Tonight Show. Like, it's not the Tush Push, it's like anal annihilation.
Yeah.
Like something like they want to say on the you know what I'm saying?
That's very creative, Joe.
Like, all right.
That is very creative.
And that's why they won't want to say it on the Tonight Show. So, like,
Well, we can say it on the morning show.
right? All right. So, Jason, would you say it's more like anal annihilation or quarterback sneak?
I would say that I think the play is just called quarterback sneak. But the what they call it and what it's called, I think, as a play coming in.
Yeah.
The reason they're not saying it is because I think it's also the play. It's also the word you would use if you were just going to run it at the line.
Mm-hmm.
That's why they're not saying it. It's not because it's a dirty play.
They don't want the defense to hear it.
If they say that it's called, then all of a sudden they use that code word at the line of scrimmage. Then all of a sudden it's like, oh, they're obviously doing this.
That makes sense.
Yeah. Which, I mean, it's pretty obvious when they're running it anyway. There's 4 guys right behind the quarterback.
Wouldn't it be great if Jalen called it I score? I score.
Well, I remember the one time, Jason, you were lining up and you because the NFL Films had the audio, you said to, I guess, the nose tackle or nose guard, whatever. You said,
know what's coming.
You know what's coming.
Yeah.
You know what's
Against
coming.
The Cowboys, yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's very, if you know how to run it, it's pretty unstoppable. And I guess the only dirty, a lot of teams in the league call it dick. Like seriously, the quarterback comes up, and if there's an open A gap, will come up and say, dick, 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 dick. And then you just freaking, but anyways.
That is a butt anyways.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, man.
No, because they can get you.
That's great, man. That's so good. All right, Jason, final couple things here. Give us your let's do 2 things. one, the advice to the current players for, and we'll get into this much more in the offseason.
Sure.
But maintaining focus to not have what happened to you guys in 2018. Just how do you, it's late, it's harder when you play that long. You have a better team, but it's harder. The schedule is going to be hard.
Yeah, they just played
all
20
that
games,
stuff,
right?
Yeah,
Or 21 games.
What's the advice on how to best handle because Cole Hamels, Cole in 09 was the worst Cole.
Was not good.
It was the worst version of Cole Hamels.
Was not good,
right?
yeah.
So he was the guy in 08 and struggled
MVP
in 09.
World Series,
yeah,
in 08, and then 09, he just wasn't the same dude.
So, Jason,
we were at training camp the following year after the Super Bowl, and there were highlights playing, audio highlights from the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
And it was right after we heard Doug Peterson talk to the team about, hey guys, after this ring ceremony, no more discussion about the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
And then it's like, wait, these are highlights playing of the Super Bowl at training camp,
which fans obviously love. But Jason,
we did, but but the team, it's not setting them up for success.
How do you manage? How do you manage it, Jason?
I think the obvious answer is you just have to keep being hungry and having that focus of trying to get better each and every week. I think the same thing that got them there this year is what they're going to have to do next year. What makes that challenging, after you've won a championship, everybody kind of thinks, they're the reason in some way that they run, even if they're not vocalizing it. And I think it becomes difficult to manage everybody being the exact same over another season. And then also you're going to lose guys. You're going to lose coordinators. You're going to lose players. There's going to be guys that were instrumental pieces here that will not be here next year. And then the other reason it's hard and what they're not going to be able to control necessarily is the fortune of getting there. Like there's health and things going right. There's a part of that happens just by happenstance that needs to happen for you to get to a championship. I think when you go, you need to have the talent, you need to have the fortune, and you need to have coaching all coalescing in the right mind. And then you also have the character. I think that they're going to be set with character. They have a core group of guys that's going to be fantastic. I don't think that that's going to be anything that's going to slow them down next year. I think that as long as they stay healthy and as long as the coaches can continue to improve and get the best out of these guys, which we know on defense that's going to happen because Vic is back. The big question is who's going to be the offensive coordinator and how is that going to evolve? But they still are. There's so much talent over there. I don't anticipate, as long as they're healthy, I feel very good about this team moving forward.
Yeah, they're in a great spot. They are. All right, final thing here with Jason, and then right back to the phones. So, Jason, you are Mr. Philadelphia. Few people have ever come through that have had the impact you had as a player and person on our town. Final thing, if you could, on the eve of another parade, your happiness for the city of Philadelphia, man, because I know it is so genuine that you're so happy for so many millions.
I had a very fortunate career playing here for 13 years and having a lot of, success as an individual, as a group, as a team. And, obviously we won it all in 2017, but there's so many relationships and people, and not even just within the organization, like in Philadelphia, where I'm immensely happy for all of the Eagles on this year's team, guys that I played with, guys that I played for, people that I was in that building with. I still go into that building nonstop. And I'm immensely happy for this city and the celebration that they're going to get. Right. And I think that, listen, obviously I was torn at times during the game because my brother was on the other team, but the reality is I was not rooting for one or the other. There are so many people I care about with the Eagles organization, and I also care about my brother. And that was difficult at times to manage, especially with the way the game went and how hard, obviously, I was feeling for him. But I love this city, and I love this freaking team. And don't do this to me, Joe.
We're so happy for you, Jason. You laid the foundation, man. You were part of laying the foundation of all this. You really were.
It's such a credit to you.
This shit has nothing to do with me. Stop that right now. And these guys have earned this so much, and I'm so happy for all these guys. And I can't wait to chug some beers tomorrow and enjoy an awesome parade.
Hey, everybody, get yourself some garage beer. That is Jason's beer, garage beer. It's going to be flowing tomorrow on an extremely extraordinary special day for the city of Philadelphia. Jason, we love you. We thank you. And we'll keep this going, man. It's a beautiful thing, man. Jason, stay well. Stay well. And enjoy tomorrow because it's going to be quite a day.
All right.
Thanks, Jason.
There he
Let's
is.
go, baby.
There it is. Jason Kelce. All right. Coming up, more of the behind-the-scenes audio that the NFL released last night. That's up ahead in 1 minute.
If you're shopping for an engagement ring, do not make a purchase until you visit my friends at Benari Jewelers. You are getting the best value on these hand-selected diamonds, and these come directly from the world's premier diamond cutters, but only after Benari declines most of the diamonds presented to them. They are extremely selective, and they only return with the best of the best stones. And that's why I tell you, the value is next level. Then there are designers. Benari carries the most sought-after bridal designers and one-of-a-kind rings that you can't get at a big box jewelry store. If you don't find exactly what she wants, Benari will handcraft an engagement ring to her specifications. But to be clear, Benari has thousands of rings to choose from. You're focused on popping the big question. Well, Benari provides something you won't see anywhere else, an industry-leading 110% diamond upgrade guarantee. That diamond that you purchase will never lose value when you're ready to upgrade. Like I said, do not buy an engagement ring until you visit my friends at Benari Jewelers. Benari Jewelers, Exton and Newtown Square.
Jenna Cameron, John Ritchie, we got